What Happened to Monday is a fun sci-fi action movie that is always on the edge of giving into its gimmicky premise. It pushes the boundaries of believability, especially towards the end, but for the most part it is carried by an excellent physical and emotional performance by Noomi Rapace. What Happened to Monday is a science fiction action thriller set in 2073 about 7 identical siblings who take turns living a normal life as Karen Setman in a future where siblings are outlawed. This is due to a major overpopulation problem, and society comes up with this one-child policy. Any additional siblings are to be cryogenically frozen until the Earth has enough resources to take care of them again. This isn't really sci-fi. China exists. From a young age, they are trained by their grandfather, played by the always awesome William Dafoe, to always be careful and to take care of each other. Each of them are named after a different day of the week, based on when it's their turn to go out. In order to properly pass off as one person, this Karen Setman, they have to have a system where they actually need to look at footage of each other's lives, and they also need to be careful not to get hurt, because if one person gets hurt, that affects all of them. The inciting incident is in the title. Monday goes missing, and all the 7 siblings need to figure out what's going on. Did she get hurt? Did she get kidnapped? What does this mean for the rest of them? The main baddie is a politician type character played by Glenn Close, who's the pioneer of this system that rounds up all of the siblings. She's great in this role. No one does a scary older lady in a position of power quite like Glenn Close. This film has a lot of action, and Noomi Rapace does it very, very well. 2 of the siblings in particular are good at fighting, and she is freaking ripped as these characters. There's definitely some Sarah Connor in Terminator vibes. Besides the action, the main theme this film is exploring is the ultimate one a lot of us struggle with, and that's the question of who are you and what does it mean to be a self, a person, especially when you have to share that life with 6 other people. The film doesn't really give clear-cut answers to these questions, but it does make things very, very hard for our protagonist or protagonists, however you want to address them, especially when they're dealing with all these different people whom they're supposed to know, but the other sibling was talking to them, so now you have to pretend that you kind of know them and you have to fill in the blanks. When I first saw all 7 siblings on screen, I was overwhelmed, but very quickly I saw that they each had very distinct personalities, and I think this is the movie's strong point. I thought it'd be a big issue trying to tell them apart, but I had no problem distinguishing who each one was, as they each had their own personalities, their own character arc, and their own unique struggles. What could have felt pretty silly, a la Eddie Murphy and the Clumps or whatever it's called, it was convincing, and I saw them as individuals. I enjoyed the first half of this movie a lot, but the second half is definitely not as strong. Throughout the movie, they give you clues to what's happening, but maybe one too many, because I was able to figure out what was going on way before our main characters do, and that's not always a bad thing because that means the film respected us by actually giving us clues, but it did kind of kill the tension for me. Another big issue was just the logic of the third act. While the first 2 acts were pretty grounded, the third act seemed like a big what-if game written by like some screenwriting bros that think they're writing like the coolest twists, but it's actually the most obvious twists, and they're not really thinking about if what's happening actually makes sense, like at all. It turns out to be pretty unsatisfying as a whole. The ending is pretty dumb, but the journey is a lot of fun. And another big plus of this film is that it's actually a really cool future world. There's a lot of technology that seems very plausible, and they utilize it very well within the context of this movie. For the most part, I enjoyed this movie, so I'm just going to end this review here and let you check it out for yourself if it sounds interesting. The third act is lazy, but for its great performances, fun action, and solid world building, I give this film a B. Once again, thank you so much for watching. What Netflix shows or movies do you think are worth watching? Somebody recommended the Korean disaster film Pandora. I saw it and I'm working on the review. Let me know in the comment section below if there's something you want me to check out, and I will try to review it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more comprehensive reviews on the latest shows and movies, and I will see you all next time.